Music, the voice of the soul, it's been humanity's greatest form of rebellion, hope, and freedom. But behind the melodies we love today lies a story born from pain, struggle, and revolution. This is the journey of music, from the fields of slavery to global stardom. Chapter 1, The Sound of Survival, 1776 to 1865. Music has always been the voice of the people, but for enslaved Africans in America, it was much more than that. It was the sound of survival. In the late 1700s, when the United States was celebrating its independence, millions of black men and women were living in chains. They had no freedom, no property, and no rights.
Roll, Jordan, roll, my soul arise in heaven, Lord.
But they still had rhythm, soul, and the power of song. They created spirituals, field hollers, and work chants that carried messages of hope, pain, and resistance. These songs were not written on paper. They were born from memory and emotion. Every note was a cry for freedom, and every melody carried hidden meanings. Some songs helped people escape by using secret codes, while others gave them strength to endure another day. Even though their lives were full of suffering, their voices created something eternal.
It said the morning come, boy. It said it makes no difference.
The foundation of modern American music. From those painful beginnings came gospel, blues, and later jazz. The music of the oppressed slowly became the heartbeat of a nation. Chapter 2, The Birth of the Blues, 1865 to 1900. When slavery finally ended in 1865, freedom came, but life was still hard. The newly freed people were poor, isolated, and struggling to survive. Yet out of that struggle came something extraordinary: the blues. The blues was not fancy or polished. It was raw, real, and deeply human. It was the sound of heartbreak, hard work, and endurance. People sang about love, loss, and life in the small towns and cotton fields of the South. With just a guitar and a voice, they told stories that felt more honest than anything written in books. Artists like Robert Johnson and Bessie Smith gave this music its soul. The blues was not only entertainment, it was truth turned into sound. It carried emotions too deep for words and gave identity to a people still finding their place in a changing world. The rhythm of the blues would soon inspire the birth of new sounds that would shake the planet. Chapter 3, The Age of Jazz and Joy, 1900 to 1945. As the 20th century began, America's cities became alive with energy. People moved from the farms of the South to the cities of the North, bringing their music with them. In New Orleans, a new sound was born: jazz. Jazz was freedom in musical form. It was unpredictable, full of improvisation and life. Musicians mixed African rhythms, European harmonies, in the soul of the blues. It was bold, joyful, and deeply emotional. Soon, the music spread like wildfire across Chicago, New York, and beyond. The jazz age became a time of energy and rebellion. People danced to swing, played the trumpet, and celebrated life after decades of struggle. It was during this time that names like Louis Armstrong, Duke Ellington, and Billie Holiday became legends. Jazz was more than music, it was culture. It represented creativity, courage, and freedom in a world that was learning to dream again. Chapter 4, The Sound of Rebellion, 1945 to 1970. After World War II, the world changed, and so did music. Soldiers returned home, technology improved, and people wanted something new. That new sound came from the collision of blues, gospel, and country music, and it was called rock and roll. Rock and roll was loud, young, and unstoppable. It was built on the rhythms of black artists like Chuck Berry and Little Richard, whose powerful voices and electric guitars lit up the world. Their songs inspired a generation, even as they faced racism and rejection. Soon, white artists like Elvis Presley brought the sound to mainstream audiences, and rock music became a revolution. In the 1960s, music became more than entertainment. It became a weapon of change. Folk singers like Bob Dylan and protest songs like We Shall Overcome,
We shall overcome. We shall overcome.
gave people courage to fight for civil rights. Aretha Franklin demanded respect, and the Beatles inspired love and peace.
Someone will come.
Music became the heartbeat of the counterculture, a soundtrack to protest, hope, and transformation. Chapter 5, The Global Explosion, 1970 to 1990. The 1970s and 1980s were a time of global creativity. Music was no longer limited to one style or one country. New genres exploded: soul, funk, disco, punk, and pop. Each represented a different kind of freedom. In the clubs, people danced under spinning lights to disco. On the streets, punk rockers screamed against authority. In the studios, pop artists experimented with electronic sounds. The invention of MTV in the 1980s brought music to television, and suddenly image became as important as sound. Michael Jackson became a global phenomenon, Madonna broke every rule, and Prince proved that music could be limitless. At the same time, in the streets of the Bronx, a new movement was rising. It was raw, poetic, and powerful. Hip-hop. Born from DJs, breakdancers, and rappers, hip-hop gave a voice to those who had been ignored. It talked about poverty, struggle, and pride. What began in small block parties soon became a worldwide culture. Chapter 6, The Digital Revolution, 1990 to 2010. In the 1990s, technology changed everything. CDs replaced tapes, and the internet began reshaping how people listen. Pop, rock, and hip-hop started to blend, while home studios let anyone create from their bedroom. The 2000s brought icons like Beyoncé, Eminem, and Coldplay, defining a new era of sound. With iPods and smartphones, people carried entire music libraries in their pockets. For the first time, music truly belonged to everyone, shared and spread by millions across the world. Chapter 7, The Streaming Era and AI, 2010 to 2025. The 2010s took music into the streaming age. Spotify, YouTube, and TikTok made stars overnight. No record label needed. Artists connected directly with fans, while every trend could go global in seconds. Then came artificial intelligence, composing, singing, even cloning voices. Some feared it would replace creativity, but others saw it as evolution, because no matter how smart the machines get, real music still comes from human emotion. Chapter 8, The Legacy of Sound, 2025 and beyond. Today, music lives everywhere, in every phone, every memory, every culture. From the songs of slaves to digital beats, it tells the story of humanity itself. Pain turned into poetry, silence into sound, struggle into art. Music began as survival, became a weapon, and now it's a bridge. It unites what the world divides, proving that the language of rhythm never dies. From slaves to rock stars, the heartbeat of freedom still plays on. The eternal beat. Music has never been just sound. It's the heartbeat of every generation. It carried the pain of the enslaved, the dreams of rebels, and the freedom of the modern world. From dusty roads to giant stages, it tells the story of who we are and who we can become. Every beat reminds us that humanity keeps evolving. Only the rhythm changes. The instruments may shift, but the message stays the same. We are alive and we are still singing. No matter how technology advances, music remains the truest voice of emotion, proof that the revolution of sound never ends. It just keeps playing, one beat at a time. If this story moved you or taught you something new about the power of music, make sure to hit that like button. Share this video with someone who loves history, rhythm, or the magic of sound. And don't forget to subscribe, because we have more untold stories, forgotten legends, and deep dives into the music that shaped our world. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep the music alive.